Alright, welcome everyone to lesson 11. I actually just had some audio issues and I was looking that up, but okay, apparently here we go. So, welcome guys. This is going to be a shorter video, but the next one's actually quite beefy with content. So, we're going to be talking about lights, particle effects, and like a bunch of other things to like spice games up, right? So let's get started with the lights, as we have that as our first little word in the title, after all. So, in Godot, there are three types of lights we can actually use. And if we type light, right, if you're trying a new node, we're gonna see here we have the different different light nodes, and actually in 3D they are kind of grouped separately, but that's beside the point now. So for like simple lighting, we can use the directional light and the point light, and the difference may be obvious. So actually if I place this directional light, this is gonna like kind of burn everything, right? Because you can see it's kind of adding to the color of every single object we have. So if we adjust the energy, that's now a bit better. We can also set the color and like just a bunch of other things, right? We can also do subtraction, which will just make things darker when exposed to this light. And this is basically as if you had a sun node, because this just kind of affects everything on the scene. And yeah, you can adjust the distance here, right? And we also have here, yeah, we have light masks, and that's also really important when dealing with lights. So if I say that this light is on the first light mask, but I look at this sprite and overwrite its light mask to be 2, and I think I also need to do that on the on this one. Is it not syncing up? This is not working on... Oh yeah, right. This may not be... Yeah, because this is saying the rendering layers in which this canvas item responds to light to the nodes, right? So we should get a different reaction, right? So maybe if I place a point light, that will actually behave differently. Okay, and now if we do anything with this, you can see nothing quite happens. So we need to add a kind of texture, and also the warning prompts us. So we can just do anything. We could do the Godot logo, right? And then now you can see we're kind of seeing the logo in in the lights that in the sprites, sorry, that we have around here. And just like that. So with this we can kind of configure what we have as the texture of the light, and then we can move it around. Of course, if we scale it, you know, our range is just going to grow, and we can specify the energy here as well. So now, yeah, and now if I set the light mask on this sprite to be 2, which is like not matching with this point heights. With this point heights, where is it? Light mask, right? This sprite is now not affected. But if I turn back to 1, then you can see it works out. And there are also shadows, but like but like I'm not quite sure how to honestly handle the shadows. So I'm just not gonna spread misinformation, right? But if you look into the documentation, there is probably some stuff. So anyway, these are the two light types you may work with. And yeah, the difference is just that the point height's position actually matters, right? So I'm gonna make those invisible. And next up we have particles. They're also pretty interesting. So I'm gonna create CPU particles. And the difference really, I'm gonna show you if I just spawn this. It's like the GPU particles, it literally just has the same information sort of as the CPU particles. So like there's not much of a reason to, you know, rely on the GPU unless you're doing something pretty resource heavy that would actually need your GPU rather than the CPU. You can also read the documentation here. This is CPU based, and yeah, we can. So particles are well, the way I explain them is like they are kind of sprites, and we can specify these sprites with all of these properties. So there's just a lot to play with. We can also set the shape of the emission, right? Just like for example, and like a lot of behavior parameters for each sprite. So now they're falling downwards, right? And you can set the amount here, the lifetime. If I set this to something like that, like almost 3 minutes, you're gonna see that no particles spawn anymore because since we have the amount set to 8, it is only 8 particles at a time that can be present. And all of these properties actually come with descriptions, so if you mess with them, then like, you know, you can just read them as you wish. So next up we have the animated sprite to talk about. This is also something important, and we have used animation player before. Oftentimes you would want to use this together with animation player because with animated sprite you can create a collection of sprite frames, and here you can specify animations, and you will need a sprite sheet of animation frames for like if you want to create character motion, right, or a walking animation for a character, then you could just take an animated sprite and create a walk animation. You can set the FPS here as well. So if you have 10 frames of walking, and the animation plays at 5 FPS, you know, the entirety of the animation will play in 2 seconds because 5 frames get executed every second. And then you can add frames from a sprite sheet or add frames from files as well if you have the frames in like separate files, but the common practice is just to have them in a single file in a basically spreadsheet or in a spreadsheet layout of sprites, often called a sprite sheet simply. And we also have this node called canvas modulet, and with this, so this is a node that applies a color tint to a canvas. This is also really cool to play with because now this also overrides every node's color sort of. It is actually quite similar to directional light, right? Because this technically also does the same thing. And yeah, this is just another kind of option to deal with modulation. And there is not much more there to this node really, because you can also depict the behavior with lights, and the difference is that directional light 2D is actually a 2D word node, and it has the light capabilities, and you can get shadows and just all those things with it. Another node we have is called parallax background and also parallax layers. So these are actually pretty awesome. Do you know those games where like you run and the background kind of passes by slower or faster than your speed? That's achieved with parallax. And there are also a bunch of properties you can set, and typically you'll also need a parallax layer, and just by doing this it's also gonna show us a warning saying this only works when set as a child of the parallax background node. So like this. Now we could add some sprites, right? And like they would produce the parallax effect that we need to make things look a bit better, and create an illusion of depth in a 2D game as well. Alright, I think that was it for this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.